How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Well, some exciting stuff showed up fresh off the Amazon truck. My new 3D printer. Well, I reached out to a few of you not too long ago and tried to gauge some discussion on whether or not it'd be of value to any of you, whether I'd showed you how I designed or reverse engineered or anything like that for traditional things around the house for tractor use, such like that. So I thought I'd go ahead and take the plunge, and I picked up a 3D printer. This is the Creality CR6 SE. Picked this one up on Amazon. I will put a link down here below for the printer itself. I'll also put a link for some of the filament I'm using for inside this, and then and some other stuff like that. So if you guys want to pick it up yourself, you can do that. This is also available on Creality's website, but it was actually cheaper to order it on Amazon. Plus, I had free 2-day shipping. So what we're going to do today, we're going to unbox this. We are going to put it together. Gonna start a print for the first time, see how it goes, and then we are also gonna just kind of go some of the features of the different printer stuff here, and maybe why this one's a little different than other I guess consumer grade printers you'd have for your house, right? So let's dig into it here. We'll get the unboxing going and go from there, guys. So during this process, I'm going to show you guys how we can design, do some tutorials on Fusion 360. It's a software you can download online, and I'll give you guys a link below for that too. And then using Cura to turn those 3D models into a sliced model so you can print it on one of these printers. The idea here is to show you guys how you can do some of this yourself. Obviously, there's a little bit of learning curve on some of it. There's some things that are just plug and play with a 3D printer, which you could print off ahead of time. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to see what I'm doing. Maybe you can recreate this at your house and find value in doing it, and have some fun, and maybe create another hobby for yourself. So let's get around to it, start unboxing this and go from there. All right, let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. All right. Take the foam off top, and what's on top? So to start with, we've got the after sales service card. So all the stuff you need here. Qualified certificate, it says, see here. Nice picture on the back. An invitation to the next consumer of Creality Cloud. All right, what else is in here? We also have cautions. Recommend to use Creality slicing software to avoid sheen or abnormality caused by different slicing software. So, like I say, Creality does have a slicing software, and maybe we'll look at that. All right, let's get this off the side. Looks like we have part of the spool holder, the plug-in. And then, what else we got? Like the control. Nice. It's a nice colored touchscreen. Go in here. Ooh, a little baby spool of filament. It's like a little 0.5 kilogram. So, I mean that. A little 200 gram Creality white PLA. It's not wound very well in there, so we'll see how this prints. I'm curious. Out. Looks like we have the bag for screws and the T-slot stuff for the 80-20 style aluminum frame. The rest of the spool holder. And it looks like the handles for on top of the printer. Alright. That's it for that. And it looks like down here we have the crane, the tower part, I guess if you will. Just lift this up out of here. It's packaged really well. I mean, it makes sense. It's got to come across the move. So there's the tower piece. Nice. Beautiful. Twin Z screws. Bowden tube, which we're going to change out. This one's got the Capricorn Bowden tube from Creality. Came with this one. This was part of the Amazon deal. Usually it doesn't come with it. It's a savings for you, 15, 20 bucks, whatever they end up costing you. Here. Last thing in there is the base. Nice rubber feet on it. Awesome. Pretty sweet look. All right, let's go ahead and grab the instructions out of here and see what we got to do to get this moving in the right direction. All right, Creality invitation like I showed you earlier. Nice little card stock. This will be the next customer of Creality Cloud. It's just trying to get you to buy the remote control 3D, or I guess to get the remote control 3D printing app for cloud printing. Under here you've got the, I'll set this stuff out of the way. Again, I'll get you guys a little closer here so you can see what's going on. This is the stuff that came with it. Again, so you have the base, you have the tower or the crane part of it, whatever you want to call it, the power cord, the touch screen, color touch screen, spool holder, part of the spool, handle for the top. This one came with the Capricorn Bowden tube for the extruder, and then like I said, the rest of this stuff is here. Pretty straightforward. This is going to be a quick assembly. Looking forward to that piece. 4 of the screws that came with it. So it's right down on there. Make sure there's no cables getting pinched. Alright, so that's there. Go ahead and put the screws up from the bottom. I believe in this back storage compartment there should be the tools you need for this. So in here you've got a few different things. So you've got your, in the back drawer you've got your spatula for your build plate, if you want to call it that. You have some stickers. You have a wrench for assembly. You have your SD card. And you have your Allen wrenches. It's nice, it comes with all of that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn this back around so we can see the front of the printer, or what we'll call the front, being the piece where the screen's going to be. It's a nice little printer already, I can tell you that. It seems like it's built really well, and the quality of it's a really structurally well-built printer. I'm pretty thrilled with it so far. It looks really nice. It looks very professionally well done on their part. All right, we're going to go ahead and install the screen. Oopsies, knocking you guys around here. The screen looks like there's 2 holes in the front, and then there's 2 holes, well, there's 4 holes technically, with 4 tapped holes in the front of that tube there, or that 8020, or you're going to call it the extruded aluminum profile. You put those in there, and we just got to get an Allen wrench that matches those. And then you just tighten those up against that, and it pulls it up flush and tight with the assembly. So I'm really happy with how Creality utilized some of these, I mean, obviously a lot of people use this extruded profile aluminum as a way to use, it's a good way for a mechanical feature, but here it works really well because aluminum is extremely strong and light, and in this instance, with the way this is built, it gives you good attachment points, and to be completely transparent, this frame, it gives you a good way to build, something off of it if you wanted to build an enclosure off of the extruded aluminum. So let's go ahead and put together the filament tube together. Here, put it together, so you twist it, it looks like. Twist it like that, and it's in. The picture shows you pretty well on that one. So then it looks like this is adjustable. So it hangs right there on the profile place, which as expected, I would assume that's how it works. So you set it down in that T-slot and you lock it into place. Again, it folds nice up to it. Installs the handle, so the handle comes with it, goes up here on top, and this on the top of the machine. So let's go ahead and do that. This is just a simple handle, and it comes with a couple of pieces. You drop it down in the T-slot, and then the screws for it, which are the same as what you use to mount the screen. So to get those in there, you just drop them down in. This first cable plugs right in here, It only goes in one way. There's a notch on top. Slides right into there. Perfect. And this one goes up and over to the extruder. All right. It looks like the same deal. Hook up the stepper motors. Again, those are down here in the bottom. Down below are the cords, and they're taped in place. They need to, this one here needs to be pulled out. Again, they're taped really securely in place. Be careful when pulling that to ruin your cables. All of the cables are taped down. So take the tape off. And the plug-in's only going one way, so just pay attention, take some patience, don't break stuff off, because then you're gonna have bigger issues. So we get the last one over here, same scenario. It says we need to take a look at to select the correct input voltage to match the local main, so 215, 230 volt, or so select the correct input voltage to match your local stuff. On the back of the machine, there is a switch. It says 230 volts or 115. We are running 115 volts here in the good old US of A. So when adjusting it here, you make sure you get your voltage set correctly. US, we had 115 volts. We do not run 230. Like I mentioned, this came with a upgraded Capricorn Bowden tube. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, and we're going to throw it on there quick. It is a just a better quality one. It has the Teflon and such in it, so it reduces resistance on all that fun jazz. But it comes with a nice premium PTFE Bowden extruding tube. It just it works better for certain materials, and it really isn't good for all, but it works even better on things like flexibles and such. So to get this off, you have to pull the little blue pieces out. So make sure your power settings are correct. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. Side here. Oh yeah, that's satisfying. All right, we got it fired up. You see that fancy colored screen, high tech. I tell you what. All right, let's go ahead and level it. It does have automatic leveling built in. You're gonna see the head come down as we do this. So click level. Nice responsive touchscreen, I like it. And it says auto leveling. Let's try it out. Just wait for the nozzle temperature to heat up to 120 degrees and then start leveling. So we'll wait for the nozzle temp to come up, and then we'll go from there. As it gets along a little farther here, that when it gets down there, that it's actually going to touch the bed. It uses its own built-in system of the sensor to allow that head to either flatten. It flexes a little bit of the sensor. You'll see it come down, and it's going to actually touch the bed. Stop. See, it found it. Do it again. And most of that fan noise you're hearing from down here on the cooler on the bottom. Alright, even though the roll appears to be a hot mess, we're going to go ahead and use the filament that came with the printer. Just some white Creality stuff. The biggest concern of mine is just how poorly it's rolled on this wheel, but we'll kind of see how it works out here. Cut it at a nice angle so you can get it fed in there. This could be tricky with flexible. We'll see how when we get to that point what that's like, but it could be a pain. We'll see. So to get ready, we're gonna go ahead and click prepare, pre-PLA, and it's gonna see it turning up the nozzle temp there. 200 degrees Celsius is where it's going. And once it gets to there, basically we are just gonna push by leaving this open, this gear drive open here. We're just gonna push filament through it. So having that to the right side, leaves the gears unlocked, and you can push up through the Bowden tube and down to the printer. We're gonna force a little bit more through this just to get a good chunk of it out, get it primed good, and then we're going to start printing. All right, so we got PLA prime. Now we go ahead and throw this back across so the gears are drive, and you can see there it's using a optical sensor for the filament detector if it breaks or runs out. Another way you can do this is to click Control, go into temp, and set your nozzle temp in your settings here and go from there, or you can just use the preheat settings that come in here. You can adjust that accordingly. So let's talk through a couple things on this printer. The Creality CR6 SE. Again, I told you before, this has a foldable foldable roll arm for your materials. It's got the sensor for the filament, so if it breaks or runs out. Has your gear driven here for your Bowden tube that runs plastic up to your extruder nozzle. It has a modular hot end, so for either changing out full units. If we're going to add on stuff in the future with Creality, what it does, but it has other additions coming in the future. This one came with the upgraded Capricorn tubing. This does have a coated glass bed with easy quick disconnect. Just lift these like I showed you earlier in the video. On the front here, which I haven't taken off yet, is the place you put the SD card. You put it with the markings facing up and there. On the front, this is kind of nice, well thought out. They have a little tool drawer for your little bed spatula. It has the little micro SD, little SD stick with has the little 8 gigabyte. That's a nice 8 gigabyte SD card here. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in because we're gonna need that for the files we're talking about. Plug it in. Has the little snippers I was telling you about. It does come with some new Bowden tube clips that we've talked about and pieces for the extruder nozzle, as well as a couple new nozzles that you could screw on there. Alright, that's nice. As well, it comes with the piece you need to change out the nozzles, which is good. And it comes with a wrench. It comes with a nozzle cleaner for cleaning out the nozzle, something sticks in it. And then the Allen wrench that we used prior in the video. So it's kind of nice. It's got magnets in here in the back of the drawer to keep it closed. So you just kind of throw it all back in here. For now, I'm not going to use any of this stuff, maybe the spatula, but I'll throw it back in here so it's all the way. It's kind of nice. It keeps it nice and neat and tidy, and you can store it right on the printer. Getting the touch screen, it's very responsive. I like it. It seems to be very responsive. Gives you the readouts there, color display. It's got belt tensioners on the X and on the Y. Let's see what else we got. It is they have all the extra extruded aluminum enclosed in, so it looks nice. Nice rollers. Switch on this side here for the power. You have dual Z axis screws, which is nice. Belt driven. Stepper motor in the back for Y, stepper for Z on both sides, like I mentioned. And it's a really nice, strain release for the bed for heating it up. And then the cable management seems to be done really well. Again, here's another look at the extruder assembly and whatnot. But it seems to be a really well built unit overall. And I'm excited to get some hours put on this thing and try it out. So let's go ahead and get the first print moving and see what happens. Take a look at that. See how well the self-leveling does. It did a perfect job on all those circles. Look how well they're done. They're laid down really well. And does a really good job. This does a great job on self-leveling. Nothing to level. You just run the self-leveling software in here. Here, you just do the self-leveling and it sets it up itself. Pretty slick, and it works really well. Okay, we got the 3D benchy in here. Let's go ahead and start it. This is my first time printing. I haven't printed anything. We'll see how it prints out of the box. Print. Starting. Let's do it. broke right off. It turned out really nice. All the overhangs look good. All the spots where it spanned, it looks really nice. There's absolutely no stringing at all. No stringing, everything looks good. It printed all the openings well. All the unsupported areas, it really did a good job spanning those. Everything looks nice. I mean, bottom here you can read it. So it's surprisingly good. Not bad for the first go at it. So far I'm impressed with this printer. Well guys, that's gonna about wrap it up for today. This Creality CR6 SE printer has been phenomenal thus far. Extremely easy to set up, extremely easy to get going, and it prints really well right out the gate. Create a little bit some other functional stuff. You'll see here, this is a little flexible dinosaur we did. This prints down the print bed that pops off and it's functional. So it turned out real nice. I printed a couple brackets for the Dyson vacuum I've got. All this stuff is off Thingiverse. I'll put the link down below here for Thingiverse itself. It'll give you a little heads up. And this is just the one I just created. Oopsies. It's a little, I guess, octopus you want to call it, or a little, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? It's a little monster type thing. It's got these movable arms, and it prints like that on the build platform, and it comes right off. So again, this was about a 15-hour print at a 0.2 millimeter layer thickness, and it turned out really well. I'm extremely happy with it. There's no artifacting or anything I'm seeing out. There's no banding. It looks nice, clean, and neat. All the joints are really well built, and there's no, everything printed, I would say, about as perfect as you would expect for this printer. So underneath here, there's a little movable ball inside of it, and everything worked fine. And honestly, I accidentally printed this with support under the entire thing, and all the support popped right off. So really cool how that turned out. I made a little tractor here. Has a few issues on some really thin parts that you would expect to see, but overall turned out really well. And overall, like I said, this printer is really nice. I'd recommend it to anybody who's wanting to start out. The automatic bed leveling works extremely well. The thing about this PEI Creality bed plate or glass build plate is it when it cools down, and it's right below 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, it'll pop right off, and you don't have to pry on it. It's a really nice quality build surface that sticks to it really well. Super pleased with that. Other than that, I guess my three favorite things about this: that auto bed leveling is extremely nice. It works really well, and it creates consistency. Like I said, this whole thing took up the whole build plate. When you have it on here sprawled out all the way, you're clear across that 9-inch build plate, right? So it did a good job on that, and the first layer looks perfect clear across it. The second thing I like about this is the touch screen control. It seems very reactive. It works really well. Maybe it's missing a few features within that you may for some adjustment related stuff, but overall for a 300, and I think I got this for $360 on Amazon, which again, I'll put the link down below here for Amazon where you can pick this up, as well as some of the filament I've been running through this machine. I've been using some Hatchbox PLA, as well as the Creality material that came with it, which turned out to be not so bad after all. I thought it seemed to be really crappy at first, and it's working out pretty well. I guess number 3 on that list there, my favorite features is I like the little the storage here on the front, the little drawer you pull out. That's nice, a nice little touch, and it gives some forethought. It shows you that the guys that designed this are looking at not just the printer itself, but the actual experience with it. As with any Creality printer, it's going to be extremely well built because it's based out of aluminum. I mean, the biggest differences between this one and the Ender are a couple of the various upgrades with the auto leveling, the different bed, the different knobs here for the belt tensioners, the touch screen. I know it's a lot of premium upgrades that just make it more simple to use, and it's more of a more widely acceptable thing. You don't have to do a bunch of fine tuning to it to get it working out of the box, or for that matter, fine tuning in general. There's always room for improvement on some prints, and you're going to see with certain filaments and different types of plastics that you're going to have to do some fine tuning on retracts and speeds and all that fun jazz just to get it to work as intended. But so far, out of the box, I had to make one adjustment. I adjusted the Z offset 0.1 millimeters to lay that first layer down just a little bit lower, and since then these have all been flawless prints, and I've had none fail. So again, I couldn't be more pleased with this purchase. I'm really hoping to get the CR6 Max at some point when that gets going. It's just a bigger build volume with the same amount of features inside of it. In that regard, I know some people like, why do you use the auto bed leveling? If you're any good, you can use a leveling system. It's built into the bed. Well, that's all certainly true, right? But it's also true that why not use technology for what it's for and let it do its job? Yeah, maybe it will have issues in the future, but we'll deal with that then. But overall, just for the extreme ease of use, I think it's worth it. And it's kind of like the adaptive cruise control in new vehicles. Once you've driven one with it, you realize how nice it is, and you don't have to worry about slowing down. I mean, you still have to pay attention, but it's not the back and forth. So moral of the story here is that technology advancing, why not use it to its benefit and take advantage where you can? And 3D printers are obviously rapidly evolving. So I guess if I have to give you a couple things I don't like about it, over here, between the filament sensor and the actual driver for the Bowden tube that drives the gear feed that feeds the filament through, there's a little gap in between here. It's kind of a pain to get to and get stuff fed through. I could see how it could be a problem. I could see a mod coming there in the near future to make that easier. So why 3D print? Why use a 3D printer? Why invest in one? Why buy one? Well, for one, it's fun, right? You get to make things at your own luxury. Most of this stuff I showed you here is all bought off Thingiverse, like I mentioned. But it's also kind of interesting to see how this does work out, and the process is pretty neat in general. Two, it allows you to make things that, well, either you can't buy or they're otherwise expensive to buy. Maybe a cheap plastic printed part will work fine, or a different version of it. Maybe, like I said, ABS, could be more of a valuable option, or ASA or PETG. There's all sorts of different types of plastics you can choose from, and there's we're not gonna go down that list because we talk for hours about that. So that'd be another reason why you want to use a 3D printer. And number three, it allows you to make iterative changes to items that you're working on. So for instance, in this channel, we're gonna do some designing and fitting and then using this stuff in on the tractors, or maybe I'm gonna be making a holder or really a mount for the hour meter for my generator. Could I just drill a hole in it and mount it on? Sure, but I don't do that. So that's really why it gives you opportunity to expand on what you're doing, and really it's freedom, right? You can do whatever you want within reason. There's a massive library out there of models you can print from, or if you know how to, you can design your own. So to keep those creative juices going, and if there's always a problem out there, so you always have to find the solution. And that's what I like to do and to work on. So there's always room for improvement. If you're interested, there's a fellow YouTuber of mine over on RM3D Creations. I'll tag him down here below in the at section. And check out his channel. He's got some interesting stuff. He works on a lot of outboard motors on one of his other channels, but he's also working on his 3D world, where he's trying to reverse engineer components or make new components for these old outboard motors he works on, as well as building new concepts. One of the things he's working on now is some different holders to help keep boat covers from sagging and to keep them in nice shape all winter long, so they're not capturing water, dirt, leaves, and it really makes the boat experience better, right? So check him out. RM3D Creations is the channel, and I think you'll like it. Thanks again for stopping in. Hit that subscribe button. Give me the thumbs up if you liked the video. Hit that bell so you get notifications. And I'll catch you in the next one. This is Kyle signing out.